everyone, it's Colin from GIY Guy. Thanks for checking out today's video, where I'm going to show you a quick, cheap, and easy way to protect your garden from a hard freeze. So quick disclaimer, this is not a substitute for a greenhouse. If you are in an area that gets consistently in the 20s and teens, you need a greenhouse if you're going to grow over the winter. But here in Nashville, Tennessee, we get below 25 degrees, once every 3 weeks or so. And so if it's just that one night, I can easily throw some protection over and then take it off the next day, and everything can just keep growing. Quick reminder what I'm growing over the winter. I've got some romaine lettuce, a lettuce blend, some green onions, garlic, and I'm trying to grow broccoli. It's growing really slowly though. I'm just keeping it alive, to be honest. When we first moved to Nashville, I wasn't sure what the weather would be like. I thought, okay, about end of November, we're gonna get a hard freeze. It's gonna kill everything, and then I won't be able to harvest anything until the spring when I'm growing again. But that's not the case. We've only been down to like high 20s, low 30s most of the time, which is still warm enough for lettuces to grow. And so I've been harvesting romaine and green onions all the way up until this point, and we're still going. If you're like me and a lot of gardeners out there, you probably like to save money, and you probably quickly realized, by the way, that having a garden is more of a money pit than a money saver. It'd probably be cheaper for me to just buy it at the grocery store, but where's the fun in that? Anyway, back to the money saving part. So on Sunday, I saw that a freeze was coming last night, down to 22 degrees, which was cold enough to kill about everything in my garden. And so I thought, I don't have anything to protect my garden. I don't have any of the fancy gardening equipment, the fleece, or even the greenhouse kind of stuff. And you're not supposed to use plastic to protect your garden in a freeze, because all that does is it traps that moisture, and you actually get a bunch of water on the leaves of your plants. And when that freezes, all the ice crystals can actually puncture and damage your leaves. So plastic is not actually the best way to go. You can do a combo of plastic and fabric, but I would put the fabric on the inside and the plastic on the top. That way your fabric can absorb any of that water vapor in there. But anyway, on Sunday, I'm at Goodwill, and I like to shop in the bins. I like to resell stuff on eBay, but I also like to look for stuff that I can use around the house or in the garden. And lucky for me, I found 3 of the exact same comforter. How aesthetically pleasing. I found 3 of the same comforter for $1.59 a pound. Ended up spending about $4 a piece on these. And this morning, you're gonna be right alongside me as I see how well these worked and if we can keep using them throughout the wintertime. Now, normally when I come outside after about a 26 or 27 degree night, everything's got just a little bit of frost on it, and it's kind of flopped over like it's gonna die, but then it kind of perks back up throughout the day. And so what I'm expecting to see under here is maybe some of the stuff has a little bit of frost on it. Maybe it's a little bit flopped over, but I really don't want to see anything wilted. If there's things wilted, those are not going to come back. That means it collapsed it destroyed the cells, the cell wall and the leaf structure, and it's dead. It's going to turn brown and fall off. Now for the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and unclamp this and lift off the blanket, and we'll see how we did. Hopefully we don't see anything wilted. Oh yeah. Nice. Nice, nice. All of this would have been torched if we left it over a 22 degree night. These leaves on the lettuce are not wilted at all. All our green onions are still firm and upright. Let me show you a couple places where you can see damage from previous freezes. Right here we've got garlic, and this is normally really cold hardy, but you can see these are just little babies. They're pretty new, pretty fragile, and so what you'll see if you don't protect them is that the tips of them will get killed back. So you can see it again here. We've got a tip brown there, and then some of the lettuce, you get a little bit in there maybe. Some of the leaves look like this. They turn a little bit of a lighter color. Actually, these are looking pretty good. I don't have many examples of damaged leaves in there, so that's good. Now I'll move to the next one. I had to put a bucket of bird seed against it to keep the drafts out. And I also pinched all this in there pretty good, so it'll take me a second to get it out. This one was a little more difficult because I had broccoli in there, which is, significantly taller than everything else. Awesome, you love to see it. So again, everything's looking great in here. All the green onions are standing up. A couple of these fell down, but that's just because they kind of got knocked over earlier. Now this is what I was trying to protect the most. These are my baby garlics again, and you can see On this side, they also got damaged in a frost or freeze earlier in the winter. Here's a good example of broccoli freeze damage. Basically, it just kills the cells in the leaves, and then it just turns brown and dies. Overall, really happy with how the blankets worked out. Probably the best 12 bucks I've spent on the garden yet. You kind of saw how I did this when I uncovered it. But I put 6 stakes in the ground, and whoop, I just broke that one off. Can't use that one again. So basically, I just took a tape measure and measured to the height of the broccoli, and then added a couple inches, and that's how long I cut my boards. And then I just cut a point on them so I could easily hit them into the ground with a sledgehammer. And then I just draped the blankets over top and kind of wrapped them as tightly as I could around the base of this. That way there's no drafts or anything that get under there. So anytime you use a shrub covering, tree covering, garden covering, it's going to be useless if you don't bring it past the base or wherever the dirt line is. If there's any way that wind or a draft can get under that blanket or covering, it's going to be useless, because the purpose of that covering is to drape over everything, but also it lets the heat from the ground come up and kind of fill this air pocket that you've created. Sometimes what I see, and I think it's even happening across the street at our neighbor's house, but they took a fleece, and instead of draping it over the plant and trying to create a kind of a dome shape around the plant that's going to bring up that ground air, that's going to trap the ground heat, they took their fleece and they just kind of made a ball and wrapped it all the way around the plant and tightened it around the base of the plant. Well, that's not going to do anything, because the plant itself does not really give off any heat. The only heat source is the ground. And so what they're doing is basically it's going to freeze the blanket and it's going to freeze the plant. And so the blanket's doing nothing unless you actually trap that ground heat. Well, that's all I've got for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Click that like and subscribe button. I know I'm a little late here in mid-December, but to be honest, this is the first time in Nashville that I've had to even cover my garden. And so you might be able to still use this if you're in the southern states. But with that, keep growing yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.